Hello everybody and welcome back to another coaster review. Today we are staying in Utah again to talk about the craziest coaster at Lagoon, Cannibal. Cannibal is a 208-foot tall monster of a coaster that is located on the left side of Lagoon in Farmington, Utah. The giant red and brown structure stands huge in the Lagoon skyline, its figure sticking out into the Utah atmosphere. Built in 2015, this $22 million collaboration between the Lagoon team and Art Engineering shattered all of Lagoon's previous coaster records, including height, speed, length, and inversions. It gave the park a great number one coaster that many people consider elite to this very day. As previously stated, Cannibal is located on the left side of Lagoon, near the flat rides Samurai, Centennial Screamer, and the Ferris wheel. When you approach the area in front of Cannibal, you are greeted with lockers and a large sign that states the coaster's name in large red letters. On the right of the lockers lies the entrance to Cannibal, which, like many other attractions at Lagoon, fails to have switchbacks in any substantial line capacity. Due to this, the line almost always spills out on the near plaza. But don't be afraid when you see this, because even though the line may look long, it's most likely no longer than 30-minute wait on average day. I would also like to point out that it's amazing that we as guests consider 30 minutes a long wait at Lagoon. I mean, with some of the best operations in the country, Lagoon lines consistently move and rarely get considered long. So also, Cannibal has a single rider line that's located almost halfway through the queue. This may be very useful if you are by yourself and you want to skip a decent chunk of the line. I mean, it's probably only skipping 5 or 10 minutes, but it's better than nothing. Once you make it to the station, you proceed to board one of Cannibal's many comfortable trains and you begin your experience. Cannibal begins with a very unique lift system to climb the tower by sliding out of the station and into an elevator? Yes, an elevator. This elevator is actually one of the coolest things I've seen on a roller coaster probably ever. It's not themed or anything, but it's just so different and intimidating in a way. The ride plays this intense music as you ascend the tower that really builds up the tension. When you reach the top, a large garage door opens, or it may already be open, and you slowly slide forward to see the amazing view. And then is when it gets crazy. So, the trains bomb down this absolutely insane 116-degree drop, hitting a pretty decent 70 miles an hour. The drop on this thing is hands down one of the best drops I've ever experienced, and it genuinely feels like that it goes on for an eternity. At the bottom of this crazy plummet, the track pulls up into a very large Immelman element, which doesn't do too much. Although the pull out of the first drop does give some decent positives as it climbs into the inversion. The train then dives down out of the Immelman, and it comes back into an amazing dive loop that offers a pretty decent whip. After diving back down through this element, the train traverses over a speed hill that gives pretty much zero airtime, and then produces to hit some magnetic trims in the valley. You can definitely feel these trims hit, and it is a decent buzzkill as you feel your glorious speed just melt away like that, but it's whatever. You then rise up into a very odd overbank turn, and then you exit into a little twist before rising up and turning left into the mid-course brake run. Following the mid-course, the train turns left and enters the best element on this thing, the legendary Lagoon roll. It's one-of-a-kind inversion, and, well, it's one of a kind, named after the park it's at. The track banks into a half heartline roll over like a little rock pond before rocking back in the other direction. Although this element appears to invert twice, it actually is only considered to invert once due to the track not unbanking enough between the rolls. After the Lagoon roll, the ride turns left before quickly banking right and entering a large helix that is partially enclosed in the previously mentioned rockwork. This helix pulls surprisingly strong positives, and it actually caused me to cry out, which I don't normally do too easily. The track then pops out of the helix and into the final brakes. And in conclusion, Cannibal's crazy. There's no other words to describe this monster better than the word crazy. But I do have to admit something. Cannibal is not as good as I thought it was going to be. It's not as good as people hype it up to be. But don't get me wrong, it is still a fantastic roller coaster. But it's a coaster that I would barely consider elite. The drop and the Lagoon roll are truly some world-class elements, and they do hard carry the ride. But the rest of the layout is honestly not all that great. The Immelman and the dive loop are both just okay, and there was virtually no airtime throughout the whole layout, except I guess the first drop. I would also like to mention that Cannibal is not 100% smooth. The inner seats on each row are definitely better, but the coaster as a whole does have a noticeable shuffle. I wouldn't consider it rough, but it's not glass smooth either. And like I said, the inside seats are better for this, and they give a probably more enjoyable ride. My mom agrees with that. But overall, Cannibal is still the best coaster in Lagoon, and it is absolutely a fantastic coaster. It's terrifying, and it even rattles the most experienced coaster rider's bones. As of this video, Cannibal is my 9th favorite coaster that I've ever ridden out of 63, and it is definitely one of the most unique out of that list. On a scale of 1 to 10, I do have to give Cannibal an 8.5. It can't get a 10 because it's just not the perfect coaster, but again, there rarely is. But I do strongly suggest that you give this monster a ride. It really feels, well, not feels, it really is a one-of-a-kind coaster. May I also say that I love Lagoon. The haters are wrong, guys. Lagoon is an amazing park. I had virtually no issues there. Good service, good operations. The operations are what makes these rides churn out people. And Cannibal is the exact same. It was, the day I was there, I will admit, it was closed for quite a while. It was closed from opening to like 5, which is most of the day. But when it did open, whenever the whole flock of people went over to the ride, they churned it out. I mean, I was on the ride in 25 minutes, and there was a line backed up past the Ferris wheel almost. So it's really incredible what they can do here. And with Lagoon even helping design this ride, they really did a good job. And for being built in-house and for being just at a family park like this, it's insane. Cannibal it's in a league of its own, kind of, I guess you could say. Amazing coaster, amazing ride. So, yeah, those are my thoughts on Cannibal. Great ride. Make sure you guys go ride it. If you guys liked the video, also make sure to drop a like and subscribe. If you have any opinions on Cannibal or coasters in general, drop them in the comments, and I will give you my thoughts. Thank you for watching, everybody.